So, yes, Heather Jackson is chasing hard. And you did see Lisa look back to see where she's at. So if we get a long enough shot, I believe it's about only 2.5 minutes right now. So
yeah, 2:42.
It's getting close to becoming like a race of races. And it looks like they're probably running maybe 10 or 15 seconds difference right now. So, it's I can't predict. Like normally I'm pretty good predictor, right? I've predicted well all day. Oh, there you go. See?
So, and this is something that Ironman Racing brings out the best of us. She's on the ground. She's stretching. She's obviously got some moves that she has used before, and she's working out to get those lateral muscle, probably some IT bands, some tendons, getting some stabilizers undone. The
it's
cramping,
a little deja vu.
A little high hamstring or piriformis. She's feeling it right there. So, again, this is the determination and the experience of a champion, but this explains why we got that close to the pass and didn't see it. So, resiliency. She got right back up and plugging along great. This doesn't feel good physically, but it feels good emotionally.
No, she's definitely...
Ouch.
Yeah.
Upper hamstring she's grabbing, isn't she, MJ? She went for that upper hamstring kind of like attachment, or maybe even, because it's internal, maybe piriformis.
Yeah. It just right when you were talking about it, it's like, she's a little more hunched over, and I'm like, ooh, that's not good. That, and her shoulders dropped a little bit. And definitely her turnover has dropped over. But, she knows she's just got to keep chugging along. It's like she's still like a second place here in Lake Placid she came in and she wanted to win for sure. But, a second place against an athlete like Lisa Norden, you can't be truly, truly disappointed when an athlete of that caliber does come into a race like this and, ends up in the front of the race for most of the race. But, for someone like Heather, it's like she knows. She knows that there's no guarantee when you start an Ironman.
Yeah. It's tough as a pro because the support in Placid was incredible. It's like a hometown race. Literally, people were just shouting my name, and it was incredible. And you have this like pressure of, you don't want to let those people down. You don't want to let the town down. You want to win. You want to defend. And yet, like, you don't on some days. It's the pressure of that, the pressure of, like, just everything racing as a professional. But yet, like, second place, I mean, just even 2, 3, 4 years ago, I mean, it's, like, incredible to get second. So it's trying to hold on to, I would have given anything a few years to get second, and I still do. I mean, and you can't forget that. So I'm stoked with second. It's not what I wanted, not what I shoot for. I shoot for the win for sure, but I'm still happy with that. And I think to find success or victories or whatever the word is in races that aren't what you wanted necessarily. I mean, I think you can find something you wanted to go differently in every single race you do. And it's a slippery slope because sport is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be an enriching part of your life, something you do because you love it. And when everything becomes a disappointment, when anything less than this victory, that's not a way to go about the sport. So for me, I'm stoked. I'm happy. And I appreciate all of the support that was there in Placid, all of the messages that we've gotten. And that race was awesome. I'll remember that race forever. I'll remember those cheers out there on Sunday more than the previous years I've raced there. They were amazing. So and also it just stokes the fire even more. So it keeps that like spirit going. I want to be even better. They said I could skip the swim and just go straight for the run. I could run around the lake. Best swim ever. So I'm really excited about that. I think the overall swim times were probably fast. It's a pretty straightforward course with a buoy line. So, it can be a little bit easier, quicker than, say, a more difficult course. But still, I swam a 56, mid 56, which I've never been under, I think, mid 57. So, and I was able to get on feet, D degrees power, amazing draft, the whole first lap and actually the second lap too. I shouted at her, "Thank you so much, Dee Dee. I just had the best swim of my life." When we got out, she was probably just like, "Oh God." But I mean, for me, that was massive. And it was just, I got on feet. There was also Renee Kiley with us. So there were three of us and just like drafted. I think all the practice I've been doing in the open water and just sighting, changing how I breathe, looking forward every stroke versus just head down, and all of a sudden I'm way off course. So it was just good to like execute everything that I've been trying to practice. And so sore. The bike was great. I mean, it was super solid day. I rode harder than I think I've ridden in, or it felt harder at least. I've got to load my file, but it was a really strong day. I mean, Lisa had a lead on me out of the water, which I knew she would. And it was a matter of me riding my race, but also being aware of where she was at. I knew she was going to ride strong. She's one of the best cyclists in the world. I think she's like Swedish national champion. And I mean, she's an Olympic silver medalist, like an amazing athlete. So I knew, even though it was her first Ironman, I mean, her pedigree is absolutely incredible. And so it was, just being aware, but still my race plan is always, the second half is go time. And so I wasn't conservative on the first lap, but it's this pushing hard. But okay, we're at 1 hour in, 2 hours in, at 3 hours in. Okay, it's go time. Like I have the pacing down, and it's on a course like that, it can be very difficult because I've done Placid 4 times, and Sunday was the hardest year I've ever done it with. We had crazy winds out there, and it's a 2-loop course, and the final over an hour back into transition was a massive headwind. So you're pushing like over race pace watts going 5 miles an hour and up this crazy climb. The whole way back to transition is a climb. So it's a hard day. I think I lost about a little over a minute, maybe 90 seconds to her in that first lap. I was trying to be conservative, trying to fuel, race my race, and then we held about the same the second lap. So I was happy with that. I mean, she pushed me. Obviously, I could tell on out and backs where she was, and I was like, okay, you need to get up to her. I was also just like, okay, she's never run a full Ironman. I don't know how she's going to run today. I was confident in my runs. It's this kind of like, you have to ride your ride knowing there's a marathon coming as well. And so it was walking that line of pushing hard, and I'm stoked with my bike. It was a really solid, hard day. Yeah, I know. That's probably the only, I guess, bummer about the race is just executing just a solid run. I wasn't going for necessarily a time there like we talked about. It's such a hard course. It's so hilly. But I felt great. I felt amazing. Came out the whole first lap. Just felt solid, just holding the pace I was targeting. I think it was right around 6:40 per minute per miles or so, 6:45s. Obviously, it's up and down depending on the terrain. I mean, there are a few hills out there you just get up and over, but felt good on the way back out on the second lap, ticking things over, just running my race, and I was reeling Lisa in every mile, just slowly, like not trying to just go after it super hard like what I did in Tulsa. And have a complete implosion. It was just, okay, steady. You've got 26 miles. And then, it was just all of a sudden the cramping, the full, like, everywhere on my body. I could see Lisa the whole way out on river. And because she was only about 30, 40 seconds up the road by then. So I had her in sight, and it was like, okay, we still have 10K to go. Just steady. Yeah, like you can do this, just fully positive. So I'm happy with that. It was a positive, solid day, but then it just hit me and made the turnaround, 10K back to town. And I tried to make a surge to get up to her. And the second I tried to pick it up just a tiny bit, my entire side just like cramped, like full cramp, and I like literally like tripped over myself and fell. And I think there was a video out there of the Ironman Live saying like, and she's down stretching everything out. And I'm like, I wasn't stretching. I like tripped over myself and fell, and I couldn't get back up because everything was seizing up. So it was just, it went from amazing to not in a second, which was tough. But it's like, okay, like anything could happen. I knew how hard or how horrible I felt, and this was Lisa's first marathon or Ironman, so I was thinking, okay, this could happen to her, this could happen to anyone, like you just have to keep going. So it was like, okay, maintenance mode, just get to the next aid station and get electrolytes. And so it was just, it went from like trying to reel in the leader to just what's it going to take to get me to that finish line. Which sucks. I mean, obviously, that race I've won twice. I wanted to win that race. And that said, I mean, I think I learned more lessons out there with what happened, and more lessons that are going to be super relevant in my head going into Kona than I would have if maybe everything had gone great. I also think when you don't have that day that you wanted to execute, then you're even that much hungrier. So like, I'm already just like, if I done this or that, and that's going to be with me going into the Kona block. So it's tough as a professional. You want to win every race, but it's also tough too, dealing with like, okay, second is still great, and I'm happy with it, and I'm happy with what I learned on the day and what I have mentally going forward into October, because I'm more fired up to execute the whole race come October 9th. So
happy that ended up working out, like coming back for sure. So hopefully, it's back again next year, and I can come back again and go after it again.
So you want Heather to come back, don't you? Yeah. Well, Heather was already qualified for Kona. The best of luck in October on the Big Island. Can't wait to see you there and bring you down the lead drive. Heather Jackson, everyone.